Welcome to the Trust Factor Podcast, the only podcast that guarantees your success when you implement its divine age-old teachings. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining. There is a great cleanup going on out there. We had another blizzard, another crazy snowfall. So you remember what I talked about last week, I think it was last week, with all this snow cleaning. It's just a repeat. But hey, if you live in Canada, it's just one of the things you've got to deal with. Last week, we said that you walk into Walmart and you buy yourself a toaster oven, an old school, simple, easy, cheap toaster oven, $19.99. You put 2 slices of toast in, you push the button, it drops, Bob's your uncle, you got toast. Everybody knows how to operate one of these toasters. And if you don't, it takes all of about 3 seconds to learn how to use it. But despite that, when you open up the top of the box, the first thing that you see is the manual. And that manual is there for 2 reasons. Number 1, to tell you how to get the most out of that toaster oven. But number 2, and equally important, if not more important, is it tells you what not to do with it so that you avoid killing yourself with it. That you don't put it next to your bathtub when you're taking a bath. Obviously, these things sound ridiculous, but there are people who need to understand this. If you're a child and you're growing up and you don't know these principles, take the time to read the manual and you'll start to figure these things out. Biggest problem that we have in humanity is that most of us don't read the manual. We think we can manage on our own. And as a result of that, what ends up happening is 2 things. Number 1, we don't come anywhere close to maximizing the utility of that appliance, because the person who is best suited to tell you how to maximize every function of that toaster oven or that appliance is its creator. That individual or that corporation knows everything there is to know about that appliance. You don't. And so if you don't read the manual, what ends up happening is you end up using a very small portion of its abilities. That's number 1. But number 2, you end up getting yourself in trouble like I did back in my university days, putting a knife into the toaster oven to try and scoop something out and had a massive explosion. You don't know these things until you either experience it the hard way because you didn't read the manual, or you read the manual and you avoid it altogether. And so that is the purpose of a manual. Now, to think that LG or any of these other manufacturers who are in it for the money, it's all self-serving, my friends, they're going to take the time to create a manual for this $19.99 toaster oven and put it in there on the top to make sure it's the first thing you see. And you want to think that a creator who creates such a sophisticated creation, such as us, human beings. Remember, we talked about the human brain, the composition of a human brain or a human eye or the cells in our body. I mean, it's a non-starter. There's clearly no other creation in the universe that even begins to stack up to the sophistication of a human being. And the consequences of our action are tremendous every day. It's not the few simple mistakes that you can make with a toaster oven. Every day we have pitfalls. Every day we have choices to make, left or right, good or bad, right or wrong. Any one of those could be devastating. If you're on the street and you take a turn and you're going down the highway the wrong way, which I just saw yesterday in Toronto, somebody driving down the highway on the wrong side of the highway, full speed. If that's your choice, you will end up dead and probably killing other people. So we have to be present. We have to recognize we have a manual, just like the toaster oven has a manual, only ours covers off all of creation from the day we're born till the day we die. It's all in there. What to do and how to do it and when to do it and how to do it right and how to do it wrong, how to make mistakes. It's all in there for us to learn from. The problem is, just like with a barbecue or with a toaster oven, most of us don't read the manual. So we end up only using a very small fraction of our abilities. Instead of using 100% of our capabilities, we end up using a small fraction, 2%, 3% of our abilities, because we don't know how to utilize it. And we often find ourselves in trouble. Why? Because we're not following its edicts. We're not following its processes, procedures, and protocols. If you did, you'd be maximizing the upside and limiting the downside. In the book, it talks about this, and it says that God gives clear instructions for maintaining the world and for accomplishing its purpose. His instructions are in the form of the 7 Noahide laws. You've all heard of these 7 Noahide laws. And if you haven't, here's how they go. Number 1, no idol worship. That's number 1, just like it is in the Torah and the 10 Commandments. No idol worship. It's number 1. It's a non-starter. If you go past this, and you've just glossed over it, you've had a false start. Do not worship idols. Know that there is a God, there's one God, and he's not limited to a stone or to a piece of wood or to a piece of metal. Do not curse God. Understand who God is. Understand what his role is. Do not commit murder. Everybody should know that, even though we've said there are societies and cultures today where murder is perfectly acceptable under certain circumstances. Do not commit sexual immorality. Those are obvious, right? We've seen these things called crimes of passion, where we understand that these are some of the highest levels of evil inclination that will drive people to do things that are unimaginable. Do not steal, obviously, prohibiting theft, robbery, kidnapping. Do not eat a limb from a living animal. Prohibits cruelty to animals. You have to understand that if an animal's alive, you're not allowed to eat a limb from it. It's a very cruel thing to do, to see a living animal and to have that animal watch you, God forbid, eating it. It's hard to even fathom. But again, there are people who just don't have these teachings. To us, this all sounds normal and we can't even fathom the idea of doing this. Yet there are cultures out there that will think we're crazy, that it's perfectly normal, that animals are there for us to do whatever we want with them. And it doesn't make a difference because they're not humans. And these people are also cruel to humans. There's no coincidence. If you're cruel to animals, you'll be cruel to humans. Establish courts of justice. That's number 7. Very important. Now you have to understand, while these are just 7 simple laws, it seems, each one of them has so many subcategories. So you have to really sit and understand, how do you keep these? How do you make sure that you're following the rules associated with these 7 Noahide laws? Think about the justice system. Think about the legal system, how many different elements there are to a legal system. But generally speaking, 30,000 feet, every society that wants to be constructive and wants to be moral needs to have these 7 Noahide laws and instill them in the fabric of their society. Otherwise, they risk falling. The 7 Noahide laws are the Creator's clear instructions that lead a person to emunah. Without them, the world is dog eat dog. It's governed by lust, greed, and force. As such, the Creator gave us these 7 laws so that we know how to do his will. It simply doesn't make sense that a corporation who's after your dollars is going to worry about you, but the Creator of you is not going to. It doesn't make any sense. Clearly he does, and he's given you a manual to tell you how to take care, how to be careful in this life to be successful and to avoid failure. You need to pick up the book and you need to learn, similar to what you're doing right now by listening to this podcast. Anyone who violates God's laws lives in confusion and disorientation. One decides to devote his life in the pursuit of money. Another seeks fame. And someone else spends all his time and energy chasing women. People live in fantasy worlds. As many people as there are in the world, that's how many fantasies and false ideologies there are. The world becomes an unbearable cauldron of strife, chaos, immorality, violence, and other types of filth. I mean, the language is very straightforward. You understand this to be true, or you should understand this to be true. It is so easy to fall into immorality. Just look online. Just look at what some of these social media platforms are becoming. They're succumbing to immorality. It used to be not that long ago that you could sit in front of these things and see things that were not risque at all. Okay, they were foolish, they were ridiculous, they weren't useful. But today, not only is that the case, today they are starting to break the boundaries of immorality in a big way. It's starting to become less and less policed, and you could see that very, very clearly. Once people begin living their lives according to God's instructions and attain emunah, a relationship with your Creator, the world becomes a place of beauty. Everyone acts according to divine will. Everyone is happy with their lot in life. No one covets, and people respect one another. You know, when you go to a place of learning, a kollel, for example, I've been to kollels where guys, Orthodox young men, get together and learn day and night. That's all they do, is they learn Torah. And I have seen myself in many of these places that you walk by their bulletin boards and there's money pinned to the bulletin board. $20, $50, $100 bill. And you wonder, what's it doing over there? And it sits there for weeks and months. It's because somebody found it on the ground and they wouldn't dream of putting it in their pocket. So they pin it to a bulletin board. And they don't even care to think that somebody who it doesn't belong to is going to come and take it, because they know that they're surrounded by like-minded people. There is no risk or fear of leaving anything behind in a place like this. It's like you have to go to Dubai or the United Arab Emirates in order to live this kind of lifestyle where you can leave your wallet on a car on top of the hood, walk away, and come back 2 days later and it'll still be there untouched. The difference is, over there, the reason it's untouched is because they are terrified that they will be chopped up by the authorities if they're caught committing a crime. We're not scared of that, yet we still do it. It's the same idea. You can leave your wallet in a kollel for a week and come back and it would still be there untouched. Not because we're scared that we're going to go to jail if we take it, that we're going to get caught and go to court and have to deal with the whole legal process. On the contrary, it's because we understand the difference between right and wrong. We know that everybody has what they need, and not one penny more and not one penny less. And therefore, we understand that if he's perfect and he's watching out for us and he's so exacting that we have exactly what we need, why should I think for a second that something that somebody else has belongs to me? Obviously not. Or that, God forbid, even worse, I think that they don't deserve what they have. How foolish of a thought that could be when I know that it's the same God that loves me and cares about me that's taking care of them. So nobody touches anything that doesn't belong to them. People are kind and charitable. No one lies or cheats. There is a truth that everyone accepts. That, my friends, is the recipe to bring in Mashiach. That's the recipe that when it's all said and done, we all say that God is one. We all understand the world is united under one God, one ideology. Everything makes sense and it's for all of our own goods, and we accept that truth. That's the life that you live. Hard to fathom when we're going so far in the other direction so quickly, it seems. To course correct is our obligation. And when we all do that, when we assess and we course correct, then we can get back onto that right path and we could steer the ship in the right direction with everybody aboard it, and we can live a utopia. Have an amazing day today, my friends, and an amazing week, and we'll chat again tomorrow. Thank you for spending time with us on the Trust Factor podcast. If you've heard something today that moved you, save this episode and share it with someone who might need to hear it. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss upcoming conversations that challenge, empower, and uplift. And if you're on social media, connect with us. Leave your thoughts. Drop a quote that resonated with you. Hashtag the Trust Factor podcast. Until next time, keep growing in your trust and keep living with purpose. I'm Jesse Revivo, and this has been the Trust Factor podcast. Thanks for listening.